Hello.
Good to go?
Yep.
All right, failure. Failure is something that people don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about or even admitting they've experienced. What if I told you that failure is the greatest thing that ever happened in your life? So you might be saying, I'm crazy. The only bad things come from failing. So I have a good thing to tell you. Everyone in the world has experienced failure at one point in their life, so you're not alone. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and try to fail on purpose. I'm telling you rather to embrace the failures, welcome them, learn from them, and just understand that those failures do not dictate your future. See them as the foundation or the stepping stones that guide you in the direction that you're supposed to be in your life. Because I guarantee you these failures can only make you stronger. So now when I think of the word failure, I think of a story back when I was 8 years old. I think that the story is so relevant to me because I believe it to be the first time that I ever experienced failure in my life. So with that being said, when I was 8 years old, I loved sports. Baseball was my favorite sport. I was a big fan of the Boston Red Sox. They were my idols. I wanted to hit home runs like Mo Vaughn. I wanted to throw people out on the base pass like Nomar Garciaparra. And I wanted to strike people out like Pedro Martinez. The difference here is I wanted to stop watching. I wanted to play. So I begged my parents to sign me up for Little League. So my first season, it was questionable to say the least. I convinced myself that I was the best player in the league. That was far from the reality of it. In reality, I was probably the worst player that ever played baseball. This was tough for me to comprehend and to acknowledge because I was kind of confused. I was confused at the fact that how could I be so bad at something that I was so passionate about? It didn't make sense to me. But I took these failures into account, and I made sure that I made adjustments. So with these failures, it came a learning experience. I was able to implement things that made my batting better. Things such as going to the batting cages every day, hitting the tee for multiple hours to make sure that my swing is straight. When it came to pitching, I taught myself how to throw overhand. That way I had more control of the baseball. I was naturally sidearm, so it was harder to control. Defense-wise, I had my brother and my friends hit me ground balls and fly balls on a daily basis. These all were made possible because I realized what my failures were. So come season 2, my second season in Little League, I did a complete turnaround. I went from the worst player in the league to being considered one of the top players in the league. And the improvements just kept growing from there. As soon as I hit Babe Ruth, I was first overall draft pick in the entire city of Cambridge. But without me recognizing these failures, I would have never been able to make these drastic improvements. So with all this in mind, if there's anything that you take away from the story, it's that we should all embrace our failures, learn from them. Understand that just because we make a failure, it's not the end. The failure should not dictate our future. We do. Thank you for your time.